River that and up towards the this freshwater part, we are partially brackish, and because of that, we have the ability to grow oysters very well. And we've been doing that in confined environments in conjunction with Roger Williams University, and that's to help bring back this type of shell fishing to our region, which is hopefully will once again be a productive commercial viable opportunity for Rhode Island shellfish fishermen. We do want to express our concern about earthquake. We do want to express our concern about safety. We are very pleased. I have had the opportunity to watch all of your proceedings that you've done, and I'm very pleased to say that I feel you have been very thorough. I think that's about it for our presentation. Again, I thank you very much for all that you are doing for the rivers and the bays.
First, I want to thank you very much for your participation. I did set a 10-minute time limit. I'm going to have to tell everybody else that you are allowed to breathe during the presentation.
I'm sorry.
I am very familiar with the Kickamuit River. Actually, I think I indicated to you that I used to fish with my grandmother, who was from Swansea, when I was growing up. I also am very aware of the Kickamuit River Council and how long you folks have been involved in the process of trying to bring back and preserve what you have brought back. So I thank you very much for that. And I want to mention one other thing. My colleagues and I are intent on having an open file. So any material that we get will, in fact, be on our website. I mean, that is our intention at this point, to actually scan and have it available for anybody who wants to go on. That, given certain budget constraints, might take a little longer than we desire, but it will be done. And actually, there's one or two instances where we might not have been able to get information because it was our spoken intention to make it available. And therefore, some folks felt they were not able or willing to give us certain information that they had. But what we get will be made public.
Will that be public on your website?
On the website,
okay.
yes. Yes,
Very
ma'am.
good.
I want to take the moment to welcome here Senator Walter Felag, who is a representative of Bristol, Warren, and Tiverton, and also Senator Perry, Rhoda Perry, who is the senator from the great city of Providence. And now I will ask, does anybody have any questions for the witness? Senator Felag, or you didn't get off that easy, ma'am.
Well, thank you. Obviously, being a resident of Warren who lives in the Laurel Park district that is adjacent to the Kickamuit River, I would like to commend the Kickamuit River Council for their testimony this afternoon. It's important that all voices be heard on this very important matter, and I commend you for voicing that concern and providing us with some expert testimony in terms of what the overall effect's going to be if an LNG facility is located within a particular portion of the bay. One of the issues that's very difficult in this is that it's a by-state sort of application where the actual facility is not going to be in Rhode Island, but it's going to be in Massachusetts, but greatly impacts Rhode Islanders in terms of its transportation through the various communities that utilize the bay. And it was important that you provided us with testimony on the most important aspect, the end part of it, being the Kickamuit River and its impact. So, again, I thank you.
We're very appreciative. Thank you.
Thank you. I would want to note that Senator Harold Metz from the great city of Providence has joined us. I also want to identify in the audience my friend, Representative, and don't be going after my job, Representative Ray Gallison, certainly one of the leaders on this issue.
He lives in my district.
Its outset. Yeah, that would be, oh, well, do whatever you want. But don't move. And I also want to note for the folks who are not able to get a seat, there is a TV apparently in the Senate gallery, which is just on the other side of this room, for those who might want to. I don't believe we're in an overflow situation yet, but indeed, if that becomes, there is a TV if you prefer watching it on TV. Next, I'd like to call John Rodman from the Preservation Society of Newport.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished members of the panel, the Preservation Society of Newport County is very grateful for the opportunity to present testimony this afternoon, and we'll be submitting written testimony following this. It's our intention in our written testimony to capture answers to any questions that you may have that we cannot answer this afternoon. I want to begin with the Board of Trustees action at the February meeting. This following resolution was adopted unanimously. Be it resolved that the Preservation Society of Newport County supports the City of Newport's resolution of the Council dated November 9, 2009, opposing the siting of a liquefied natural gas facility in Mount Hope Bay because of the many potential dangers to our local economy and the environment. Specifically, this is Council Resolution 2009-150. You're probably familiar with it, but we'll submit a copy with our written testimony. My name is John Rodman. I am the Director of Museum Experience for the Preservation Society of Newport County. I have been with the Preservation Society for more than a decade, and my primary responsibility throughout that period has been the tourism business aspects of the work of the Preservation Society. We believe that an LNG proposal of the kind presented, or of any kind, poses both environmental and economic risks. Our special expertise is tourism, so we're going to confine our remarks today to the financial issues, but that by no means should be interpreted as suggesting that we aren't fully supportive of the opposition that is raised on environmental grounds. Tourism is perhaps one of the most fragile but most important industries in Rhode Island. As many as 1 Rhode Islander in 10 draws their employment from tourism. More than 10% of state and local tax revenue in 2008 was generated by tourism. It is the 4th largest private sector employer in Rhode Island. Average annual tourism wages are over $27,000. And employment is critical to the way we view the issue of the impact of tourism. The Preservation Society this year, by the way, was fortunate. We didn't have to make any layoffs and we didn't have any wage reductions. But that's because we take an aggressive posture when it comes to marketing Newport and marketing Rhode Island. But we should not be complacent. You are all familiar, you especially members of the panel, of the impact on taxes from the declines in tourism that we all know about. My colleague, Evan Smith, is going to speak later on some of those issues. Suffice it to say, tourism is critical to Rhode Island, and it's very, very fragile. Now, when it comes to the Preservation Society of Newport County, we track admissions very, very carefully. And I want to show you something, and I wish I had brought more copies to distribute, but it will be in our testimony. This shows the impact of the closures of the Jamestown Bridge in 2006. The low bar is 2006. It is the lowest attendance recorded at the Preservation Society in the last 15 years. So when we talk about potential bridge closures, we talk with some expertise because we've been there and done that. And I want to tell you that the State Highway Department did a superb job, absolute best efforts at mitigating the impact of the bridge closures. They were very few, they were well publicized. Nevertheless, we believe that that low number is, in many respects, the result of the bridge closures. It is our view that when you mess with bridges and bridge access onto Aquidneck Island, you're messing with Mother Nature virtually, in the sense that the fragility of the tourist and their decision-making is critical to our economy. One of the things that we know is that the internet traffic that was generated by those few closures created immense amounts of buzz on the internet. And we were bombarded with questions saying, oh my God, is the bridge closed? Okay, with those few closures in 2006, we have anecdotal and empirical evidence that suggests there's a negative economic impact that has to be accounted for. We would argue that many, many more bridge closures with much less notice and mitigation would be a problem.